this is Tyler. Welcome to my podcast. So, first thing I wanted to cover was that I've really been deeply curious about big questions. In fact, I love the question of why. And the question of why has haunted me for a large part of my life. And so I've wrestled with really big questions like, why do we exist? And what does it mean to live a meaningful life? And that drove me pretty heavily into a search for meaning and purpose. And I've been on a journey for the last several years on what does that look like? And so I totally recognize that there are a ridiculous amount of podcasts that are out in the world, and that this is just one other one that would get layered onto all of the other ones that are out there. But I did see something that I didn't see many people addressing, which was really wrestling with the underlying fundamental aspects of life, and specifically encountering nihilism and coming to terms with that with meaning. And this journey is not something that I recommend for many people, but it is a journey that I went on myself. And I think part of that in helping others when they may be on this journey is understanding that one, you're not alone. And two is that there is a path out of it. When you have an existential crisis in your life, it may be due to any number of things. You may not even want to be part of that journey, and yet you still find yourself on that journey. And it can take you all the way to the depths of hell. But if you can make it past that, it provides your life with such an amazing context and amount of gratitude that is just awe-inspiring. And part of what we'll explore in this journey is this aspect that I have, which is called the will to life. It's this area where it's a guiding principle that says, is life better than not life? It really is fundamental as to how you see your place in the world and how you look at existence in general. And so my framework expands around that. And this journey that we're going to go on is going to evaluate, hopefully, 20 episodes or so in order to explore each of the different areas that is associated with this fundamental search for meaning and purpose, understanding your existence. So finally, I want to acknowledge that in today's society, especially with technology, is that there's a tremendous amount of loneliness and disconnection in the world. And that's exacerbated by lots of reasons. And one of the things that I see as missing in the world is someone who's trying to bridge the divide and someone who's trying to find a way to speak to people in a way that will provide meaning and purpose to them rather than just segregate themselves into tribalism. So if you're joining me on this journey, then thank you. Obviously, I'm an amateur and I don't really know what I'm doing. And so this is the first discovery into that. But I got to the point where I decided that I couldn't not create the material and release it into the world. And that the information that was bubbling inside of my head eventually had to be released. And so for better or for worse, that's where we are. So in the podcast, the first thing that we really need to do is confront nihilism. That'll probably be the first episode outside of the intro to address the existential crisis that many people come to and providing a way to overcome nihilism, where nihilism is the thought that there is no meaning and purpose. In fact, nothing in the world has meaning or purpose, and it's all just pointless. And we're going to address that at the fundamental layers. And One of the things about that is that I've seen very few people put a convincing argument up against nihilism. And you have to understand that it is probably the most solid argument that has been posited in modern history. And that's incredibly disturbing because we used to be able to go to things like Christianity and find our salvation and our meaning and purpose in that. And then when we exalted science and the pursuit of truth over everything else, it led us down this road to coming face to face with existential terror. And so we're going to go through that journey. We're going to explore some big ideas: spirituality, existence, the mind, society, business, evolution, complexity, and well being. Hopefully, we'll come out to the other side with something that is valuable. And we're going to be exploring it together. So, hopefully, I can pull on insights that I've discovered in my journey. I've read a ton of material in this area as I went on my own existential crisis and journey. Hopefully, we can pull from some of that knowledge that I've gathered along the way in philosophy, science, history, and narrative storytelling. My goal is to help everyone discover a personal framework for understanding themselves in the world and for uniquely finding their own purposes. And I really hope to find a way to establish the foundation that meaning emerges from understanding and connecting these larger threads of existence. What makes this one unique? What makes this podcast unique? Well, hopefully, we can approach complex ideas and make them accessible and relatable, avoiding academic jargon or pretension. Explain it like it's five works really well for me. Hopefully, I can convey that. And I really like the idea of this as a conversation, not just a lecture, in that it's a journey of discovery for me and hopefully for you as well. I'd like to focus on my belief in meaning and purpose that are universal goals, transcending differences in culture or belief or background, and that it's built within the foundations of life. And this will be a blend of science and spirituality as a unique lens for exploring these topics. I haven't seen anyone else cover that. So maybe if you've found others who have like minded ideas, then point them out to me and put them in the comments below. One of the things that I do want to take away from this is the ability to provide insights and actually have ways to cope and to deal with nihilism. Hopefully at the end of every episode, but we'll see how it goes. And it's not just about ideas. I want to have actionable ways that are backed up by science and experience that enable people to live better, more connected lives and to find deeper purpose in their lives. So, who is this for? I'm trying to find like minded individuals and people who are searching for meaning, people who are wrestling with big questions or looking to grow in their personal and spiritual lives. But I also acknowledge that there are tremendous skeptics and thinkers and people who are seeking clarity in a confusing world. I know that's my background as well. And so there's a place for everyone in this because I think eventually everyone goes through an existential crisis. And so part of that will be whether that's you now or you in the future. But at some point, I think everyone really deals with this, especially if they live in an affluent society. And so if you guys have inputs on this or you want to guide the direction, feel free to provide notes in the comments. I am creating this partially for myself and partially for trying to give back to the world, that which has been good to me. It's been a journey. It has pain and suffering in it, but at the same time, I'm still very grateful for that. And I'm grateful to be able to provide maybe some bits of wisdom back into the world. We're going to cover this in about 20 episodes or so. And I'm focused on laying out confronting nihilism to begin, and then exploring existence, understanding the self and how that applies to consciousness, and then applying these lessons in society, business, and then beyond. It is an overarching arc and a narrative that hopefully closes at the end. I'm really grateful to be here and to create this. And so together, let's explore what it means to truly live. This isn't just a podcast about ideas. It's about rediscovering what it means to be human and building a life of meaning, purpose, and well-being. So thank you for being part of the initial intro. We'll see where it goes. And I look forward to stepping into the unknown.